Hello everybody, how are you? It's time for another Jacksonville video. This one is the 5 worst baby furniture stores in Jacksonville. You know, when you have a baby, you want them to have safe furniture that's functional and reasonably attractive. It doesn't have to be the latest designs unless that's the way that you prefer it. But you certainly don't want to deal with the 5 worst baby furniture stores in town. And let's go through them and find out why. For example, the number 1 on the list is Half-Baked. Half-Baked baby furniture store. The problem with Half-Baked is not so much the furniture itself, it's their approach to salesmanship. Because what they'll do is, rather than give you the product knowledge that you're looking for so that you can make an informed decision, their salespeople just make up stuff out of the blue. They just wing it. And so you don't really feel confident that you're getting information that you can make a decision that involves the safety of your baby, not only your child, your brand new baby, a new person in the world. They need to have furniture that's safe. And when the salesperson is going on and on about this baby crib would be good for your baby because it has a mattress, it has railings, and most of the railings were glued securely as possible, and those that weren't were probably secured with sharp nails or duct tape, but something. It won't hurt your baby. Okay, and you know, this kind of answer, you're like, what are you talking about, duct tape and sharp nails? Forget it. I mean, guys, it's too much trouble. Now, the number 2 worst baby furniture store in Jacksonville is going to be called Capsized Baby Furniture Store. Now, where is this place? If you get on the 101 north from downtown Jacksonville, you get off at the 3rd exit. It's going to be the McClintock exit. Turn right on Susquehanna, and it's going to be right there. And it's Capsized Baby Furniture. What's interesting is they have a nautical theme on all of their furniture. So a crib looks like a little boat. And what they're saying is that's fun and it's cool, and you're like, yeah, that's kind of neat. And they even have little hats, little sailor hats for the babies to wear. But then they go into this whole routine about your baby will be stronger and better as an adult, as a young person, if they grow up knowing how to handle a capsized boat. And so their cribs are made to flip upside down so that the baby falls into a tub of water and has to fight for it. You're like, come on, man, that's not good for the baby. They can't go flipping out of a baby crib onto a baby pool of water and try to swim for it. I mean, guys, listen, if you want your kid to be strong and have grit, you don't need to flip them out of their crib and capsize them like they're in a boat on the ocean. I can't even talk about it anymore. It's just too crazy. Now, number 3 is Wifely Baby Furniture Store. Now, these guys really have an interesting, guys and girls have an interesting approach because their graphics show what appear to be a wife managing the raising of 2-3 kids, including a baby, while it looks like her husband is off to the side at the breakfast table sipping on coffee and reading a newspaper. And so the image shows her with like 6 or 7 arms, if you can picture that, like it's a cartoon, and she's, you know, haggard and just tired, working on all these kids at the same time, like she's doing all the baby raising, all the child rearing, and the father's over there drinking coffee and reading the newspaper. Now, if you don't know what a newspaper is, if you can picture on your Facebook feed the news that comes over, those news stories used to be printed out on paper, and they'd roll up the sheets of paper, and then a teenager, like 11, 12, 13 years old, sometimes they're 18 years old, and you're like, why are you still delivering newspapers? But nonetheless, they'd ride around on their bikes with like 100 of these papers rolled up, and then they'd throw them at your house. And and you were supposed to come out and get it in the morning. But the problem was, it'd be like 3.5 feet of snow. It'd be 40 below zero. You're in your bare feet and your pajamas and your robe, right? And the newspaper isn't anywhere near the door. It's out on the lawn somewhere, out in the snowbank. And so now you have to decide, will my body be able to withstand the 30 below temperatures if I just walk out there in my bare feet real quick? Or will I get to the newspaper and then turn around to come back and then be overcome by the cold and the wind, and I will fall backwards into the bank, and nobody, not even the family dog, will know that I'm out there, and I might die before I'm 38 years old with my family 10 to 40 feet from my body. Okay, that was a decision you had to make. And I know you're laughing. You're like, that didn't happen. Believe me, kids, gather around. I can tell you some horror stories. But thank the Lord now that the news all comes on your Facebook. But nonetheless, it's a little bit much to believe that in this cartoon imagery on their logo, on their sign that's out front of the store, that this man, who is probably the father, is reading just the newspaper. I mean, they're acting like that's all he does, but come on. Sometimes he's reading the sports. Sometimes he's reading the tire ads because they need new tires on the car. Sometimes he's reading the current events. Sometimes he might be even going over the horoscope. Maybe he's an attorney and he's good with words, and he's going over the, what am I trying to say? The crossword puzzle. That's what I meant to say. All right, he's a words guy. So to pretend that he's just reading the news and that's it, while wife, that's what they're called, their baby furniture store, wifey. And they're trying to appeal to the mom. Well, that's great. I'm glad that they're marketing and they're looking for a hook, but, you know, as the male, I'm going to say that's a no-go, and maybe it's for you. It's a no for me on Wifey Baby Furniture Store right there in Jacksonville. Now, number 4 on our list is Reunite Baby Furniture Store. It's going to be on the south side of town, Reunite. And their marketing hook is interesting because they specialize in creating baby furniture that is designed to reunite split families. And this is a very good idea. And so what they do is they create a baby crib, for example. They construct it just like they would any other baby crib by hand, nonetheless. Then they take a big giant chainsaw and they cut it right in half. And they give, and the idea is that you buy, the furniture will be purchased one half by the mother, one half by the father in a split family, and that they will come together in a ceremony and match the two pieces, and they will, the furniture store will come out and tape the two sides together in this ceremony that indicates they've gotten back together, they've overcome their differences, and the baby will then be raised in a unified home. I don't believe any of this for the second, guys. It's going to take a lot more than that. I'm going to have to say no to Reunion Baby Furniture Store. Now, the last one on the list is really interesting because it's called Submarine Baby Furniture Store. And Submarine, and first of all, it's a store that was started by men and women that served on the USS Down Below submarine. And by the way, a quick tip of the hat and a salute. Thank you for your service in the greatest military in the world. And they got out and they said, what can we do? We want to start a business. We want to have a side hustle. And they started this Submarine Baby Furniture Store. And what they did was they came up with the idea of creating a crib that mimicked the hammocks that they used to sleep in on the sub. So your baby actually sleeps in a hammock. And the idea that they pitch to you is that if your baby sleeps in a hammock, when it comes time to mow the lawn when they're older, they will be so used to the hammock that they will not get into the hammock that you've hung outside the backyard, where you go to sip iced tea and smoke a cigarette. And your fear would be, well, no, that'd be the opposite. They'd be so used to the hammock, they'd crawl into that thing and not mow the lawn when I told them to. When they're, 10, 11, 12 years old, however old they are, when you determine that they're old enough to run the lawnmower. So I'm gonna opt for the side that says it's a bad idea, because if you're a baby and you grow up from the day you were born until you're 6 years old in a hammock, guys, that's your life. That's you're as much used to sleeping in a hammock as you are going to McDonald's after the baseball games in Little League. All right, it's just part of your lifestyle, part of your young life. Therefore, when you get to be 10, 11, 12, and it's time for you to get out there, march out there, young man, young woman, and start up that lawnmower and mow the back lawn, and don't come back till it's done, because you're not going to get anything to eat. And then you look out the window and they're in the hammock. They're sleeping in the hammock that's your hammock, that you set up for you to have a relaxing summer afternoon sipping on iced tea and smoking a cigarette. And they're sleeping in your hammock, and the lawnmower is nowhere to be seen. Well, no kidding. No kidding. They grew up in a hammock. It's what they know. It's like they're going back to the womb. So, guys, I'm going to unfortunately have to say no to Submarine Baby Furniture Store. It's just not going to work for me. Now, it might for you. Hey, these are the 5 worst in my opinion. If you know some good ones that we should list, leave a comment on the YouTube machine right there on YouTube, or get on Twitter and leave a tweet. Because, see, when you share your knowledge, the whole community grows together. And this has been another video where I just make it up off the top of my head. We're just having fun out here, guys. Come on. Come on!